let's move on, because as Labor continues on its renewables-only magic carpet ride, the Prime Minister is refusing to take the blame for rising power prices. Weren't we told, James, that our power bills were meant to come down by $275?
Well, Anthony Albanese is today claiming it's all the coalition's fault. Can you believe?
They were in office for a decade. They've been in office for most of this century, and during that time there haven't been coal-fired power stations opening, they have been closing. And on their watch, when they were last in government, 24 out of 28 either announced their closure or brought forward the closure dates. And it wasn't replaced by any new energy because they couldn't get their act together to have a policy.
Yes, the Prime Minister is saying all this absolute nonsense, James, at the same time when an analysis found that household electricity prices have risen by more than 27% above inflation under this Labor government. Now, let's not forget, our power bills we were told that they were going to come down by $275. That obviously disappeared into the never, never. We were told, James, that our power bills would come down under the renewables-only experiment. Instead, they've gone up by 40%. We were told that we would reach all of our emissions reduction goals, yet expert after expert have told us that we simply won't get there. Even Ross Garnaut, a long-time advisor to the Labor government and a backer of renewable energy himself, also agreed that Labor will not reach its energy targets. Yet we've got Labor now drumming up this 62 to 70% by 2035 without any indication of what it's going to do to our power bills and when we would reach our emissions reduction targets. So, and the other issue is that all we have gotten from Labor out of this is our subsidies. Now, what happens when those subsidies peter out? Of course, it puts pressure on inflation and your power bills will still go up. There's been band-aid solutions and the evidence is there, James, that our power bills have gone up under this government.
Well, that's right. And the subsidies also at the large scale, when you look at the capacity investment scheme, which is only on renewable projects, there's 60 of these that Labor has backed in to underwrite these projects being built and being operated for the next 15 years. That's a very generous subsidy. We don't actually know the cost of that, mind you, and won't for 10, 15 years. But at the heart, we're talking here about a country that is resource rich, that has an abundance of coal, an abundance of gas. Anytime you hear a gas shortage, forget about it. There is no shortage of gas in this country. We just export it instead of using it here. So it's now time that we've got to say, OK, also, can I just make this point? This death riding of coal, which Labor has, made a career out of, to be saying coal is on a quick exit, it's ageing, it's dying. It's not the coal technology, it's the life of these plants. And unfortunately, a lot of these have been sold off by state and federal governments, which means we don't control them and how long they can stay open for. But the only way you can go in an alternative direction to what Labor is saying at the moment, and this is what the coalition is going to have to look at, is to extend the life of these plants to make sure that we do have baseload power, because every time you hear, 90% of it is going, we're going to have to consider keeping that online for longer
to make sure.
Well, that's it, but that's only for 2 years. We've got to consider doing it for longer because I don't think anyone's going to build a new coal plant in this country. But those decisions have to be made to make sure we have baseload power for longer. Otherwise, prices will never come down.
No, exactly.